now that I've finished that cuppa, I'm going to get my feet up. I'm going to get nice and comfy and chilled out while I answer your questions. Welcome back, guys. I talk far too much, which is why I've decided to split this video into two. So here is part 2 of my recent question and answer session. Enjoy. Okay, now that I'm sitting more comfortably, let's move on to question number 4, which is, what do you love so much about latex? So much that I love about all shiny clothes, not just latex. So I obviously love the shine. I just absolutely am drawn to initially the shine and the aesthetic of shiny clothes, shiny boots, whatever it might be. I don't know if it's kind of like a childhood thing to me. It's like, yeah, I just love it. I just want to touch it. I want to look at it, everything. I just love it. And to be able to dress shiny, it just makes me feel happy. And yeah, I just think it's a great way of being able to express yourself. Aside from the aesthetics of shiny clothing, I absolutely love the way that it feels, and everything brings something different to the table when it comes to all of these different shiny materials. For example, one of my favourite things about wearing latex is sweating in it, believe it or not. A lot of people find that part very uncomfortable and they don't really like that, but that's one of my favourite things about wearing latex is obviously it's not a breathable material, and I absolutely love the feeling of getting sweaty whilst wearing latex. I just like it, and naturally that's going to happen. And, excuse me. As well as the physical feel and the way that it feels to wear, I think that second to the feel, the general feel, is the way that I feel personally wearing latex. So for example, when I am fully suited and booted in my latex catsuit, for example, which is one of my favourite pieces, and my favourite combo to go with my catsuit is my buckle corset, my thigh-high boots, my gloves. I can't explain to you how powerful I feel wearing that. And it's almost like you take on this kind of alter ego, this new kind of found version of yourself. And it's difficult to explain, you know. Let's say as a child, you're dressing up as Spider-Man, or you're going to a fancy dress party and, you know, part of you kind of becomes that other person. I would compare, you know, this kind of shiny passion that I have as that kind of, you know, love for dressing up. I enjoy the dressing up element of it. I enjoy feeling like I'm becoming somebody else. And I think that's part of it for a lot of people. It definitely is for me. Obviously, we all have different reasons for enjoying different things. But I definitely would say that the most things I love about latex is the way it feels, the way it looks, and the way that I feel wearing it. Okay, and final question that I'll answer today is, how do I care for my latex? Now, I've been thinking for a while that I'll probably do a video on this because I do get asked this a lot about kind of the aftercare or just general care for latex, how to get it shiny, how to wash it, etc. So I'll probably will do a fully in-depth video on it in future for those of you that are interested. Now, when I'm answering this, what I will say is, once again, everybody's different. So what I might do doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just the way that I've always done it, and I've never had any issues, and I've been wearing latex for around 5 years now. So first of all, getting into my latex, I do use Dressing Aid. Now, to store the latex, it's hard to find a starting point for this question. But I do store my latex powdered. So I do powder the latex with talc. And that prevents the latex from sticking together. Each piece of latex I do keep in a clear Ziploc bag, and it's all kept individually. And that's to prevent any things like colour transfer. For example, I have had colour transfer happen before when wearing things like boots over lightly coloured latex. Like I have a silver latex catsuit, and I did have a little bit of colour transfer go through. It's not noticeable, thankfully, but when I'm wearing the black thigh-high boots, so you do have to be careful of that. So for that reason, when dealing with different colours of latex, I do keep everything stored separately. Everything is powdered using talcum powder, and that's to prevent it from sticking together. Because if it does stick together really badly, whilst it's in storage, whilst you're peeling it, it kind of fuses, and whilst you're peeling it apart, it can become weak and it can tear, and then obviously you've got a problem. So yes, I will use dressing aid to get into my latex. And I, at the moment, use the VV Shine products. So I use some VV Shine dressing aid. I put that on my body, so on my arms, my legs, and I actually also put some inside the suit. Don't know why I'm doing that. Looks a bit dodgy. But yeah, if it's the cat suit, for example, I'll pour some in the legs, in the arms, and then I can literally just slide in. So on a good day, you know, with one of my cat suits, it might only take me 10 minutes to get into it and to get it fully shined and everything, if that's a good day. A lot of components, a lot of a lot of factors can contribute to how quickly you can get into latex. For example, the studio that I do all my filming in is very cold, and the temperature can affect the kind of stretch of the latex. So if it's warmer, the latex will be more stretchy. So sometimes when I first put one of my suits on, if I'm cold, the latex has been stored and it's got quite cold in here, temperatures have dropped, it can be quite difficult to get into. However, once your body warms up and it regulates, and it can stretch a lot. So that's why latex is great, and that's why you get that kind of second skin feel that's super, super tight to your body, which we all love, or at least I do. So yes, I do use a dressing aid. I feel like I'm higgledy-piggledy here. So yeah, step 1, dressing aid. Step 2, get into the suit. Then I will wipe off any powder, because there will be some powder residue on there. So rinse or wipe off the powder depending on what facilities you have around. I generally will just use like a towel or a cloth just to wipe off the excess. Getting really into character here, aren't I? Just to wipe off the excess powder before shining. Otherwise, you've got a real job on your hand. You're shining over powder and it's becoming smeary and you're not getting a nice glossy finish. So I always remove the powder, which will have an excess on the suit from powdering from storage. And then I will start to shine. So I used to actually shine just using the Bee Gloss spray and a cloth. But now I really enjoy actually getting really involved and using my hands to shine, especially if I've got latex gloves on. It's great to fully be able to shine the suit and get into all the zips and all the seams and everything. So I do shine by hand. And again, I use VV Shine at the moment. Bee Gloss is good also. And I know there's other products as well, but they're just the two that I use commonly at the moment. So then I will shine, and then I will use a cloth to buff the latex just to get rid of any kind of excess shine, just so there's not kind of a residue being left on surfaces and such, like wearing this skirt today, for example. You don't want to be leaving kind of a glossy residue. To be expected in some cases, but you don't want to be absolutely drowning in shine. You know, you don't want a wet, completely wet look. You just want that nice mirrored, glossy look to finish. So that's what I do. I always stand on a towel or an old bed sheet or something to shine and dress, because that dressing aid and that shine is lethal. It will stay on your floors and it's like you're on an ice rink. So that's a top tip that I would have if you're getting into latex, if you're trying it, or if you're wanting to kind of start a shiny journey. If you're going to be shining and using dressing aid, stand on something, please, because you might end up with some broken legs or something like that. Maybe I'm speaking from experience here, but yeah, I definitely have. We've all been there, but yeah, it can get very, very slippy and it stays on your floors, so do be careful. Okay, so we've enjoyed our shininess, and then it's time to care for it properly. So I do wash my latex after every single use. Now, some people might say that's wrong, but that's just what I do, okay? I mentioned earlier about the sweating. I don't like to leave any any kind of residue of anything on the suit. So I do like to make sure that my latex is kept clean. And I think that if you can care for it properly, you know, it's going to have more longevity. It's going to last longer. It's expensive stuff. So it's really is a sound investment to take care of it. So I would recommend to wash it after each use, just to get rid of any chemicals, anything that's on there. You know, it might be that you've had some deodorant on or some perfumes, things like that can react with the latex. They can weaken it. And, you know, latex, it isn't going to last a lifetime. It does have a lifespan. So it is important that you care for it to make sure that you are able to enjoy it for longer. So for that reason, I wash it after every single use. Now, I find it easier just to literally throw it in the bathtub. And that's where I wash all my latex, in the bath. I have been known to get in the bath or the shower in my latex and wash it and get out of it and then wash it again and rinse it. But generally, I will take the latex off, chuck the latex in the bath. Again, using VV Shine Clean. I do use washing up liquid, just standard washing up liquid as well. Give it a nice wash. Give it, you know, make sure you're getting into all the seams, the zip area, everything. Turn it inside out. Make sure you're washing inside and outside, getting all that shine off and getting all that sweat off. And then what I will do is I'll hang it on a plastic hanger and then I'll rinse it off with the shower head. Generally, I then leave it to drip dry and again, turn it inside out so that you're making sure the inside's dry and the outside's dry. But if I'm in a rush and I want to be able to store it away, I will just kind of pat it dry or just wipe it down. Try and get something like a lint-free towel or something like that. Obviously, you don't want to be getting bits all over it. But generally, I will just leave it to air dry. And then, yeah, once it's fully dry, I will powder it and then store it back in its clear Ziploc bag. And there you go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. I say that all the time, don't I? But yeah, that is what I do. I feel like there was something else to tell you. There was something else that I wanted to tell you. Keep your latex away from things like direct sunlight and heat sources. So you don't want it next to a heater or a radiator or anything like that, because again, that can affect the latex. So just make sure that it is kept in a cool, dark place. Some people that I know keep their latex hung up. I just like to keep it all neatly stored away. That's just the way that I do it. So yeah, that is how I care for my latex. It's quite a process, you know. But as I said, I truly believe that it's worth taking that extra care. It's expensive. It's beautiful. And why not just take, you know, that extra time to really take care of it? Because, yeah, it deserves it, you know, it really does. I feel like answering that question went on forever, but it really is a process caring for the latex. And as I said, I probably will do a kind of step-by-step video, maybe, if you wanted me to, on how I will care for my latex and show you kind of what products I use and how I do wash it and kind of actually act out everything that I've just told you. So if you do want me to do a video like that, if you do think that will be helpful, then do let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. So I thought that I would just answer 5 questions today, just to prevent this video from going on for too long. But if you enjoyed this video and you have any other questions, please feel free to leave the questions in the comments. And I would love to do more videos like this if you guys like it. And possibly, you know, put some questions on my posts, on the comments, etc. And we could maybe do one of these every few weeks or once a month or something like that, and have a little bit of a catch up or a question and answer of some commonly asked questions. In fact, what I might do is I might put a little post on after I've uploaded this video, and on the post you can all write your questions so that they're in one place. And then when I come to do my next video like this, then I'll look forward to seeing what other questions you've got for me, because I actually quite liked that. It was quite good to be able to answer your questions in depth rather than having to physically type answers to all of you, because it can be very time consuming, especially if I've already answered the question. It just feels like I'm repeating myself over and over. So hopefully, if you do find this video, it might answer some of those questions or those things that you might have been wondering. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for yet again another shiny video. There's nothing left for me to say apart from keep smiling, stay shiny, stay positive, and have a wonderful day.